Easter weekend. A loss to Aldershot on Good Friday, a draw away to Weymouth on Easter Monday. What's your take personally on both of those games?
Definitely disappointed with the first one. Well, overall, really, we might as well get straight into it. I just feel that we're doing enough to win games, but we're not capitalising and taking teams to the sword, really, which is disappointing. And I think that's the case with all occasions.
What do you think that is? Is that communication on the field? Is that to do with communication between the manager?
I think that's experience, mate. I think it's like you go through seasons knowing when, not seasons, sorry, just experience of knowing when to take teams to the sword, when to capitalise, and when to put them to bed. And as a team, we're not doing that. I felt on Monday I had a bit of a sense of urgency to kind of just go and get the goal and go and do it, but I'm seeing players around that haven't quite got that experience, kind of not understanding the urgency to kind of do it, which is it's a tough job to kind of. I find it very difficult. Say if I need to do something myself, I can go and get on with it, but kind of usher in 11 players to do it. Not 11 players. Obviously, there are Wilco next to me knew how important it is. There's other Ruben up front that knew how important it was, and Gorm's next to us as well. So it's not all my responsibility, but I do feel that it is part of my job here to kind of relay that experience.
I understand that. And what's the difficult part for you now as a player, coming to the end of the season, Yeovil not having too much to play for in terms of the playoff places?
Well, yeah, that in terms of Saturday, the two games that we played over the bank holiday, those teams are scrapping for their lives. They are, well, sorry, Weymouth already gone, but they're scrapping as a derby. But Aldershot were scrapping for their lives. Now, Stockport the weekend, they're up for promotion. So we're coming up against teams that have definitely got something to play for. Where I do think, I don't know if it's mathematically possible at this moment in time, but it'd be very, very, very difficult even if it is for us to get anything out of the season. So it's all about personal pride and personal performance and representing the club properly, representing the fans properly. The fans that paid those unbelievable support the weekend, sold out. I'm sure we would have filled the whole stadium if we were allowed to. So it's about those guys and putting a performance in for that.
And it's not happening for a few weeks yet, but can I just get your take on the Somerset Premier Cup final as well against Bath City?
Well, it's the opportunity to get some silverware in the club, and my aim this year was to be in and around the playoffs and get promoted and call it a successful season, and that hasn't quite happened. So the next best thing to that really is to win something and get some silverware, really.
I suppose that's important for you as a player is to, even if it's not a division title or promotion, is it just a bit of silverware?
A silverware is silverware, whatever it is. I think one of my highest accolades. So when I look back at my career, it's, you look at those days where you've won something. Now, I won the Johnson Paint Trophy a couple of times. Now I've had professionals around me that have kind of won the FA Cup, so you can't really compare them. But that was one of the best days of my career. So there will be lads in the team. It is inevitable that will be the best day of their career, really, when we lift the trophy. So it doesn't really matter whether it's the Somerset Cup or whether it's the FA Cup. It's a cup to win, and we're in a good place to go and do that. So that shows how important it is. It definitely is how important it is to me. If selected, I'll be giving absolutely everything I can to win the trophy.
Good. It's good to hear that. Thanks. And facing top of the league, Stockport on Saturday, are you looking to provide an upset, or is it just a case of game management?
Oh, of course, it's an upset. I don't think it's. There's no. I don't think there's not much of a rivalry here for us, and we've got Barks. It's a weird one because Barks, I'm not sure who he's going to be supporting the weekend, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's to do with an upset for me, it's not what their business is what their business is, but it's important to me that to put in a good performance, and everyone around me put in a good performance, because I've said it before that it's business end of the season now, so people are playing for contracts. So the owner or the scout or the new manager, whoever's going to come into this club and start handing out contracts, they'll be watching the players. They'll be wanting to see. Now, it'd be such a shame for lads that have been playing really well at the start of the season, but now when the managers and the relevant people are watching, to be letting themselves down. So it's I wouldn't say it's to do with Stockport and upsetting those. It's just to do with ourselves and playing well.
All right, thanks, Mark. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
Hiya, not too bad.
How would you sum up your season personally? Obviously, you had injuries to get going with, but you seem to have had a lot of games recently. How have you felt in yourself?
Extremely frustrated. Freak accident at the start of the season that no one could have predicted, couldn't have prevented, anything like that. So ridiculously frustrating. Got over that in the time period, well, earlier than what the surgeon suggested. And I've been, like you say, been playing the games, which I've enjoyed playing in the games and having contribution to the games. Listen, I'm still not. I'm still playing with pain, and I'd say I felt really, really good over the bank holiday thing. I thought I was getting back to my where I should be. Hopefully, the next few games will show that as well. But it's playing catch up from the injury from the injury before. So it's frustrating. But I'm enjoyed coming down here and giving my contributions.
And how has it been like working with Charlie Lee? Have you had to help a lot with helping him out and finding his feet at all?
Not really. Chaz is getting on with it. He's a long-term friend of mine, and he'll get my help in anything he asks for. But I don't go knocking on his door saying, "Chaz, we need to do this, we need to do that." We have a giggle when I call him Gaffer, but it's he's getting on with it. I believe he does need a bit of help. It's a hard job. It took 20 plus lads to kind of operate, and he's doing it solely at the moment. And it's Staunce has helped him. Staunce has declared he's putting his grey kit on the sideline. I've been fining him for that because that's embarrassing, but he does it anyway. But jokes aside, it's good on him. He could be sat at home really, but he's not. He's involved in his club, and he's helping all of us. Other lads have kind of helped with the warm-up and just been a spare hands, but it is very different to when I walked in, when you had two experience. We had the Gaffer, and then we had Terry Alpin. Now that's like any club would be blessed to have those two people running it. Now both of them have gone, and we're left with no experience really, and we're kind of having a go. And we were getting results. We had a fantastic week. We played well. I think we battered Aldershot. I think they only had 2 shots or whatever, and we ended up losing 2-0. Or was it 2-0? 1-0, sorry, 2-0. And then we played really well against Weymouth. I think we should have beat them as well, and I'm sure we'll have a good performance on the weekend. So the job's getting done, although it's harder than it was at the start, say.